All right, guys, welcome back. This is week 4 of NFL game picks for the 2020 season. Yes, I shaved my beard. I had awesome sideburns, but I shaved those too. Yeah, so last week, what a week of NFL football. I want you guys to go over your records from last week. I will tell the viewers mine right now. This past week, 11-5, so not so bad. I'm 30-18 on the season. So still some work to be done. Definitely in last place of the leaderboard. But besides that, what do you guys have?
Yes, I went 10-6 last week. A big drop off from my big 14-2 record the week before. But I'm 34-14, sitting on the season. I'm not for sure where that ranks among all of us, but kind of like where I'm sitting. So hopefully I can get back on track this week and maybe go 16-0.
Yeah, so I'm sitting up top, all by myself here. I'm 35-13. I went 12-4 last week, so staying strong. Told you Bryce I was coming, bro.
Yeah, I had a rough week, went 10-6, and that brought me to 33-15 for the season, which has me in third place.
Yeah, so as of right now, Christopher is in first place, followed by Bryce, Eddie, and then me, unfortunately, the host. But yeah, so last week was a pretty good week in my sense. I mean, I had probably one of my best weeks overall. Yeah, no, actually, yeah. Second and third week were the best weeks for me so far, 11-5 for both weeks. But what do you guys takeaways from week 3? Anything that surprised you? Atlanta blew another lead. They put in Nick Foles, and the Bears came back. Your thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, so Trubisky looked pretty terrible. I tweeted out, and I think the second quarter to put Foles in, and I'm begging Nagy to put Foles in, and he finally did. And Foles didn't look great. I mean, I thought he looked pretty decent, actually. One of his interceptions was ruled a touchdown first, and they overturned it. So it could have gone either way. But overall, he looked good and led another comeback against the Falcons.
Did you get a direct line to the field and called the Nagy and like put in Foles or what?
Yeah, pretty much. He saw my tweet.
Yeah, my biggest takeaways was the Steelers are for real. Their defense is arguably the best in the league. Big Ben is showing that he's still aging, but he's still a capable quarterback of winning and taking them the distance. Um, I didn't put a whole lot into the Packers win against the Saints just because the Saints lost to the Raiders, and the Raiders got absolutely destroyed by the Patriots on Sunday. But week 3, I'll just go ahead and call it the Kansas City Chiefs are winning it all. The way they made Lamar Jackson and the Ravens look on Monday Night Football was absolutely just disheartening if you cheer for the Baltimore Ravens. It was an absolute destroying of the Ravens. So the way that defense shut down the Ravens, Lamar, the run game, and the way their offense looked, I just don't see anybody even coming close to touching that team this year.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway from the weekend is that the Eagles, I thought they were going to get their stuff together within the first couple of weeks, but they look bad. They played for the tie this week, and I don't think there's any fight in that team.
Yeah, so enough about week 3. Let's start off with week 4, Thursday Night Football. We have the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. And so, Eddie, I want you to lead this off. Any thoughts on the Broncos or the Jets in general? What do you think of this matchup?
So this might be a matchup for the number 1 pick. These are probably the 2 worst teams in the league. Denver's starting somebody named Brett Ripien, who I have no clue who he is. And I don't see this being an interesting game at all. But I guess I'll take the Jets because they have Sam Darnold, and they're probably a little more experienced.
Yeah, at first I picked the Broncos, but then I just remembered a lot of their injuries. I'm going to go with the Jets on this one as well. Adam Gase gets to keep his job for another week if they win. So let's hope that's the case and we could play the horrible Jets. Quick thoughts from Eddie and of Chris and Bryce.
Yeah, I got the Broncos winning on the road. I think that overall their roster is so much better than the Jets, and the Jets are just that bad of a football team. So I got the Broncos winning.
Yeah, I also took the Broncos. I think the Jets are by far the worst team in football. And I'm hoping we get a Blake Bortles sighting here. So let's go Broncos.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Let's see what happens there with that game. Next, first Sunday game we have is the Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers. So, Bryce and Eddie, what do you guys think of this game?
Yeah, this was a tough one for me after seeing how bad Kyler Murray looked week 3. Sorry, I think he's definitely due for a bounce back week. The Panthers beat the Chargers as the Chargers looked like they played with a rookie quarterback on Sunday. So I got to go with the Cardinals here on the road. I just feel like overall they're the better football team, and Kyler Murray's going to have a huge bounce back week. This defense is terrible. And with no CMC, I think that they just had a good week against a below average team in the Chargers who had a lot of injuries. So, yeah, I'm going to take Arizona on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona on the road here too. I think Carolina definitely capitalized on Justin Herbert being a rookie, and they played a really good game against them. I think Arizona's due for a bounce back. They played a good game against Detroit, but they could have played much better. And DeAndre Hopkins had another great game, but I think they bounced back and move up to 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you guys. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here. I think that Panthers defense is pretty terrible, and Kyler is looking good, so I'm going Cardinals.
Yeah, what a difference it is from Justin Herbert's first week playing against the second week. They already had film on him. They kind of digested how he plays, and they already got on top of him. Obviously, it's a different story with Kyler Murray, so I'm obviously going with the Arizona Cardinals over the Panthers. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Washington Redskins. Chris, thoughts on the Redskins? I mean, not the Redskins, the Ravens.
Yeah, so I think everyone's gonna go with the Ravens here. The Washington football team's pretty awful, so I think it's an easy pick. No real contest. Going Ravens.
Yeah, definitely. The Washington football team had a great week 1 performance and then fell off after that. Chase Young got hurt, and Redskins just got that loss last week to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, but playing the best team in football. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. Ravens are going to win this one without a doubt. What do you guys think?
I got the Ravens winning. I think they're overall the better football team, but don't be shocked if it is a close game. This Redskins front seven is very, very, very good and underrated. And if they can shut down the run and force Lamar Jackson to pass, I think he'll be able to capitalize on enough throws. But don't be shocked if it is a close game midway or even late.
Yeah, I'm going to take Baltimore too. I think Lamar Jackson's due for the bounce back, throwing for under 100 yards with 28 attempts. Just the reigning MVP can't do that. So I'm going to take Baltimore.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting takes out of there, but Baltimore is obviously on paper and by eyes, you can tell they're probably the better team than the Washington football team. But, like Bryce said, don't be surprised if Washington makes it a close game. So I believe that 100%. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Dallas Cowboys. Chris, what do you think of the Browns so far this season?
So I think it's pretty obvious I'm fairly anti-Browns. All I have to say really on this is, Baker, you're so lucky that the Browns have a run game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's the only reason why you're still starting. Otherwise, you'd be benched, and my prediction will come true by the end of the year that Case Keenum will start. He just got outplayed by Dwayne Haskins. How does that happen? They won the game, but he's outplayed by him. So I have the Browns losing. I'm going with the Cowboys. I think this is the first and last time the Browns are above 500 in a long time. So let's go Cowboys.
Yeah, this is the first time being above 500 in quite some time. And like you said, short-lived. They're going to be 500 after this week still because it's going to be 2-2. But, I'm going with the Cowboys. Cowboys had a good fight against the Seahawks, and who are a way better team than the Browns. And Cowboys are back at home. No biggie there. What do you guys think, Bryce and Eddie?
Yeah, I may spend a little bit extra time on this just because I disagree with Chris so bad about the Dwayne Haskins Baker Mayfield. Dwayne Haskins literally turned the ball over 5 times last week against not a very good Cleveland team. But as far as this game goes, I got Cleveland winning on the road. This Dallas defense is not stopping anybody. I mean, us 4 could run through it or walk through it. So, yeah, I'm taking the Browns. Their run game's lethal. I think Baker will be able to finally get in his groove throwing against his terrible secondary. And I think the Browns probably could win by a touchdown or 2.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys. I think Baker Mayfield's assistant quarterback, and he benefits having two great running backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Um, I've liked what I've seen from Dak Prescott this season, so I'm gonna take the Cowboys.
Yeah. The running game does definitely have hinders on whether or not the Browns have success or not, but I mean, it's part of the team game, guys. So next we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Chicago Bears. Bears are 3-0. Christopher, what are your thoughts? And then Bryson follow it with the Colts.
I think this is going to be a good game, actually. The Bears are 3-0. First time in like over 10 years we've actually started 3-0, so I'm pretty excited. I like what I saw from Nick Foles, so I'm hoping he comes out and has a great game. I hope defense causes a couple turnovers from Rivers, and hopefully we walk away with the W here.
Yeah, I also have the Bears winning this game. I think with Nick Foles at quarterback, having somebody who can actually get his big-time receivers the ball will be important. This Colts defense looked better than average last week against a terrible Jets team. I think Phillip Rivers will turn the ball over a lot because he's playing actually a good defense. I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears actually win by 2 or 3 different touchdowns. Now this could be the first week I picked the Bears, so they may lose. But I don't trust this Colts team. I especially don't trust Phillip Rivers in this defense. I believe they lost Malik Hooker to the season too. So this average secondary just got worse, in my opinion.
I'm gonna go with Chicago here too. I think their defense is far superior. I think the team's more motivated on Nick Foles than they are on Mitch Trubisky, and I think it's gonna be a close game. But I'm gonna take Chicago.
Yeah, so for me, this was kind of one of those games you could flip a coin on, in the sense of if Nick Foles was starting, I'm flipping a coin to decide who wins. But I'm a little bit more confident Trubisky starting against this Colts defense than he did against Atlanta last week. I know you're shaking your head, Chris, but I'm going with the Bears. I have to go with the Bears. They're looking good. The defense is going to put Phillip Rivers in a whirlwind, and that takes us to the next game against Jacksonville Jaguars against Cincinnati Bengals. Jaguars 1-2, just took a loss to the Dolphins, and then Cincinnati 0-2 and a tie. They tied last week against, I forgot who they tied against, the Eagles, which was not such a good game. I was trying to stay through the whole overtime. I was like, I'm not watching the rest of this. But I want to get some thoughts from Bryce and Chris on this. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the Jaguars, after we saw them live against the Dolphins Thursday night, fun experience. Yeah, I'm just not a sole believer in this team. I think Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. I just don't think they have enough around him. And I think Joe Burrow gets his first win of the year. The Jaguars pass rush has not looked incredibly great like it has in years past. They still have some players there. This Bengals offensive line is terrible, but I think Joe Burrow will do enough for him to get his first ever NFL win.
Yeah, so I think unfortunately Burrow doesn't get a win. I'm going Jacksonville on this one. We just went and got to see the Jags play live, and I was actually really impressed with some of the throws Minshew was making, even though his receivers dropped half of them. But I think it is a toss-up after watching Fitzmagic run all over the Jags defense as well, and I think Burrow is a better quarterback than he is, but I'm going to go with the Jags here.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. Wasn't impressed by Jacksonville when they played Miami. Miami came out and just Miami handed it to them for a good amount of the game. I think Burrow has success, and I think Jacksonville goes 1-3 on the year.
Yeah, I have to agree with everyone but Chris, because I don't know, man. What I saw from the Jags on Thursday, and I'm pretty hopeful on the Bengals and with Joe Burrow. I hope he has some success there. He's been looking good so far. Obviously, haven't produced a win, but he almost had a win last week, but they had to tie. So I'm going with the Bengals this week, and for sure they have to get their first win. If not, I don't see it coming anytime soon, to be honest. Next, we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Chargers, Eddie, speak on that.
So I think the Chargers come out and win this game. This is one of my underdog picks of the week. I don't think the Chargers look bad. They kind of beat themselves with 3 turnovers against the Panthers. Um, I'm not crazy over this Tom Brady-led Buccaneers team, so I think it's going to be a close game. But I'm going to go with the Chargers here. I think it's a big win for them.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs at home in this one. This run defense is top of the league in almost every statistical category as for run defense. Their pass defense has looked pretty good so far this season, and I just feel like as a team, they are so much better than the Chargers right now. Chargers, I believe they just lost Melvin Ingram and Chris Harris with injuries. I don't know for how long. But, yeah, I think this Bucs team is too good, and they're starting to find their groove and finally get their chemistry. So I like the Bucs in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks as well. Brady is starting to really get his 2 top targets back healthy, and Godwin and Evans really starting to click. I think they're gonna actually put up a lot of points in this one, and have the Bucks winning.
Yeah, I have the Bucks as well. I liked what I saw with them against Denver last week, given it was Denver, one of the lower tier teams at the moment right now. I believe the Chargers are a little bit better defensively, but like Bryce just said, some of those injuries do factor into the selection here. So I'm sticking with the Bucks, and it's honestly it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be interesting to see who starts for the Chargers if Tyrod comes back or if not Herbert. But besides that, let's move on to the next game. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the Houston Texans. Now, there hasn't been any real update on this game yet. Tennessee Titans, some players contracted coronavirus, and they played the Vikings last. But luckily, no Vikings have tested positive, so that's all good news there. So it looks like the game is still on. So I want to hear from Chris and Eddie. What do you guys think? I mean, Chris and Bryce, about this game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think the Texans finally find a way to get their first win. This Vikings team is not very good, and I just give the edge to Deshaun Watson. Justin Jefferson had a really big day against the Titans last week, but overall, I just like this Texans offense better than the Vikings. The Vikings defense is not very good either. I like the Texans at home. I think Deshaun Watson will finally get that first win, and he could try to lead this team on a run to maybe potentially make a wild card with the playoffs being expanded this year.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Texans as well. It's 2 0-3 teams. I don't think they're as bad as the record shows, especially the Texans, but I do have Deshaun Watson getting his first win of the year. Minnesota's defense is all banged up, and you can't trust Kirk Cousins, so I'm going Texans.
Yeah, I'm going Texans too. I think Cousins has looked horrible this year. Their defense is banged up. And I think Texans are due for a win. Deshaun Watson's played, I think, better than the record shows. And I think they get the first one of the year.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you there, Eddie. The Texans have been playing a little bit better than an 0-3 team. Just run into probably 3 of the best teams in the NFL in the Chiefs, Ravens, and Steelers. So definitely got to hand it to them, give them their credit where credit is due. And, yeah, I'm going with the Texans here as well. I mean, they're not a real 0-3 team. They could easily be a 1-2, maybe 2-1 team, but their record is just not in their favor. Next, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Detroit Lions. So, Eddie, and I keep on messing this up. Bryce and Chris, let's hear about this.
Got their first win of the season last week against the Cardinals. But I just think the Saints offensively, I just don't see the Lions able to stop Alvin Kamara because right now he's their main source of offense with Michael Thomas being out. And I give the Saints defense a little bit more of an edge over the Lions offense. So I like the Saints on the road here. But I think it also could be a close game but this would be a good game to see where both teams are at. Both teams really need a win to try to get back to 500 and maybe possibly try to push for a wild card spot later in the season. So I definitely think this will be one of the better games of the week, but I like the Saints.
Yeah, so last week Detroit won and the Saints lost. I have the Saints winning and Detroit losing. I think Drew Brees has a bounce back week. I do agree Kamara will probably have a huge game. Michael Thomas is questionable. He might come back is what I hear, but maybe not. So we'll see. That's going to be a huge factor as well because Brees that's his number one target, and he hasn't really found a backup number one since he's been out. But I think the Saints still pull it off against Detroit.
Yeah, I got the Saints winning this one too. I think this team definitely relies on how far Alvin Kamara takes them, and Drew Brees is looking old, but I'm going to go with the Saints over the Lions.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for Breeze a little bit so far, but I'm going with the Saints, but expect the ball to be flying a lot in this game. These are two quarterbacks that will be slinging the ball around. Obviously, Drew Brees hasn't been airing it out as much, but there is going to be a lot of throws in this game. And it could go either way, honestly, but I think that the Saints edge it out, especially after losing to the Packers. So it is what it is. Next game we have on the schedule here, it is postponed to possibly Monday, possibly Tuesday. Yes, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Tennessee Titans. Like I mentioned earlier, Titans have had some players and personnel with some coronavirus. And but nonetheless, we're going to do scores on this one. It's going to be interesting. We may see football on a Tuesday, guys, just letting you guys know. But with that being said, I'm going with the Steelers. And just real quick, let me say my score. My score is 28-17 in the favor of the Steelers. Bryce and Chris, let's hear from you guys.
No worries. Yeah, so this one, I'm going Steelers. Sorry, Bryce. I know I just interrupted you, but I'm going to give you even more bad news here. If this game is played this week, the Titans aren't going to have any practice time while the Steelers are just practicing away. So I give the Steelers an edge. I have it 28-13. Titans need to tighten up their facilities there and stop spreading around COVID, maybe stop going out after wins. So I have the Steelers winning this one.
All right, upset of the week time. And the only reason this is an upset is because the Titans literally have zero opportunity to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are arguably one of the better teams in football. I'm a Titans fan. Call me a homer, whatever. But in prime time, possibly Monday night or Tuesday night, honestly, I think with a little bit of luck, I think we can pull out the win from I call him Godskowski now, after that game Sunday, 6 field goals, 3 from 50 yards. So, yeah, I just think somehow Mike Vrabel will find a way to rally this team and pull everybody together. And honestly, having that few extra days rest could benefit us. Taylor Lewan was banged up last game. This could pave the way for Adoree Jackson, our number one corner, to hopefully get back out on the field. So I like the Titans by – I'm going to say by a late field goal from Gostowski. It'll make 4 game winners to start the season. Low-scoring game. I'm going to say Titans 17, Steelers 15.
Yeah, I got the Titans win this one 24-21. It's going to be a tough week for the Titans, not practicing and all that, but I think the Steelers keep it close with them. It's going to be definitely a game. It's probably going to be the game of the week. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a game of the week, possibly. It's probably going to be the last game of the week. Let's be real here. We're uncertain when exactly a game is going to be played at this very moment, but it looks more than likely possibly Tuesday at the latest. I don't think they're going to reschedule it. I think they're going to try to play this one out. But next, we have my game of the week, Seattle at Miami. And Seattle is 3-0. Dolphins finally 1-2. And I don't know, man. I'm pretty optimistic about this game, especially after seeing how the Seahawks allowed the Cowboys to stick in that game. May call me biased, but I'm picking the Dolphins to win 27-30. It's going to be a field goal difference. And it's just how it's been so far. How do you guys think? Let's talk to Eddie about this one.
Yeah, I think it's a matchup between two of the best scrambling quarterbacks in the league, and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Russell Wilson. But I'm going to go with Seattle here. I can't bet against Russ. I think they tighten things up on defense a little. This Dolphins team, I love them to death, but I think they're just a little far away from being at Seattle's level just yet. So I got this game being 31-20 Seattle.
So the words best quarterback and Fitzpatrick should never be in a sentence ever again. But the other quarterback on the other team should, because Russell Wilson is the MVP so far. He should have gotten MVP votes every year he's been in the league. And I have the Seahawks winning this one 37-10. They're going to blow out Miami at home. So I'm sorry, guys. They don't stand a chance. Seahawks all the way.
Seahawks, Russell Wilson, 4 TDs, 400 yards. They win 40-21.
Short and sweet, just how I like it, Bryce. Not the outcome I would like, though. But yeah, definitely, like, it could really be Seattle. Just me being a biased Dolphins fan. But the possibility is there. Let's not count it out, guys. All right? Next, we have the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm going with the Rams here. They've looked a lot better than a lot of people were expecting them to be this season. And the Giants couldn't even beat a depleted 49ers squad. So how do you think they're going to beat almost a fully healthy Rams squad? Eddie, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think the Rams win this easy. They almost pulled off the miracle comeback against Buffalo last week. They were down by 1 million, ended up losing by 3. I don't think Daniel Jones is good anymore, and the game's in LA, so traveling across the country is going to be tough for the Giants to pull that one out.
Yeah, I'm going Rams as well. Giants are bottom 3 team in the league, so I think Rams will win this one pretty easy.
It's the Giants and Jets battling it out in New York for the number 1 pick and the worst team in the league. Rams will win 2 or 3 scores, maybe even more. I don't know. They should not have lost to the Bills Sunday. I predicted that the Rams would win, and they almost did, but they got hosed. So Rams easy.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw those memes that the Falcons logo turning into the Bills logo. So that was pretty funny. But the Bills ended up saving that game. And speaking of the Bills, we have the Buffalo Bills at the Las Vegas Raiders. And Bills are 3-0 after saving that last game we were just speaking on. And the Raiders finally lost after losing the Patriots, getting actually hosed by the Patriots, like Bryce would say. I mean, they laid an egg there. Buffalo is looking legit. They looking at like a possible contender in the AFC. And, they've faced some good opponents and still more good opponents down the road to play. But I do think they win here this week in Las Vegas. What are your thoughts, Eddie?
Yeah, I think Buffalo comes out and wins this. Josh Allen has looked great this season. Buffalo's looking like a real legit contender. I liked what I've seen from Vegas this year. But I don't think they got enough to beat Buffalo just yet. So I'm going to take the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Bills as well. I think Josh Allen is a dark horse for MVP. They're looking really good so far. And the Raiders, I'm not buying into the hype. So I'm going Bills on this one.
Put the money down. It's the upset of the week. The Raiders will win at home against the Buffalo Bills. I just think at home, the Bills having to travel across country. I just like the Raiders at home this week. Little side note, if Russell Wilson was not doing his thing, my pick for MVP is Josh Allen this year right now.
Yeah, definitely Josh Allen has been lighting it up and being impressive to many people who either didn't know much about him before or just doubted him before. And enough on that. Let's talk about the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs 3-0. Best team in the league, as a lot of people would say. But the Patriots are not so far off, 2-1, and they just slaughtered the Raiders last week. We're doing scores for this one, and it was kind of hard, but I'm going Chiefs. It's a no-brainer, but don't be surprised if the Patriots do win. So I have the Patriots 24, Chiefs 31, winning it by a touchdown. What are your thoughts, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs on this one, 34-21. I thought they looked absolutely outstanding against the Ravens this week. I mean, Mahomes is on a different level than any other quarterback right now. And I like what New England's doing with Cam Newton. I just think it's a really bad matchup for them, especially against this high-powered Kansas City offense. So I'm going to take the Chiefs on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs. Eddie, we actually have the same score, 34-21. I think it's a great quarterback matchup and it's a great coaching matchup, but I think the Chiefs pull it off in the end. They're just more talented, so I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs at home right here. I like them 38-25 over this Patriots team. I just feel like they have too much. The Patriots, they're not a team who can play well from behind against a good team like the Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs will win big. I think Patriots will score a late touchdown that'll close the score up some, but 38-25 Chiefs.
Nice scores, guys. And Sunday Night Football, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the San Francisco 49ers. Going into the season, you probably thought this was probably going to be one of those good matchups. And as of right now, it's not looking so good. 49ers are very injured, and the Eagles are just not good. And they tied last week with the Bengals. But I am picking them to win this game. I think they are better than the Giants. They could definitely do better than what the Giants did against the 49ers last week. No matter if they're home or away, it doesn't matter. I'm picking the Eagles. What about you, Eddie?
So I'm going to take the 49ers on this one. I don't like what I've seen from the Eagles. I know San Francisco's banged up, but I think the run game just kills Philadelphia this week. So I'm going to take San Francisco on this one.
Yeah, the one thing I would say about the Eagles is their defense hasn't looked great, but their run defense has been good. I think Carson Wentz gets back. I think he has a bounce-back week. I'm not a Carson Wentz fan. I think he's a little overrated, but I do think he is a top 12, 10 quarterback in the league. So I think he gets back on track against this depleted 49ers team. So I like the Eagles.
So I agree. I think Carson Wentz is definitely overrated, but I think he's playing for his job right now, honestly. They drafted Jalen Hurts, and I think they might try to just go with him just to try to get a win if he doesn't pull this off. So I'm going Eagles, and kind of an upset. San Francisco's all banged up, but I think the Eagles will get their first win here.
Yeah, I agree with the Hurts situation. He got a play. I remember seeing him get a snap in last week. So we'll just see what has to happen there with that situation. But finally, we have Monday Night Football. Atlanta Falcons at the Green Bay Packers, and Atlanta could easily be 3-0 if they didn't choke so many times. But they're 0-3 instead. So, man, I really wanted to go with the Falcons, but I'm not going against Aaron Rodgers again. I went against them last week, and they're back at Green Bay. I know there's not the fans there, but you can't go against that. And my score for this one is 23 Falcons, 35 Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers is just going to unload on this Falcons defense. What do you guys think?
I'm going Falcons. I'm going with the upset. Dan Quinn is another person fighting for his job here, so I hope he comes out and shuts down Aaron Rodgers. But I have it 35-31 in a close game. But we'll see. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I like the Packers at home, 41-24. This Falcons team defense is not good. Their offense is good. I don't believe Julio Jones played last week, so if he's out, I definitely love the Packers. If he plays this week, they have a little bit more of a chance. But, yeah, I like the Packers at home. Arguably after this week or next week, I think Dan Quinn and Adam Gase should be fired. I think they should have been fired yesterday. But, the Falcons are not a well-coached team. They have all these weapons, but they still suck. So, yeah, I like Packers. The final score of 41-24.
Yeah, I got the Packers winning this one 31-17. I think Dan Quinn within the next 2 weeks gets fired. There's no reason that the Falcons should be as bad as they are, but I'm not going against Aaron Rodgers, especially how good they've been playing lately. So I'm going to take the Packers.
Yeah, and those are all very solid picks. And what are you guys' thoughts on week 4? Anything else you guys want to include while we have a couple minutes left?
Watch out for this week to be a decider as to how the MVP race can play out this year. I think if Josh Allen can go on the road and get a nice win and ball out, I think he's definitely still in it. And I think Aaron Rodgers, if he has another big week, I think both of them are going to be in it with Russell Wilson. Also, if Patrick Mahomes has another big week against the Patriots, I think you kind of have a three-way tie for second place at chasing Russell Wilson, and then it'll just be whoever has a good week when Wilson has his first bad week, which will happen at one point during the season. So just watch out for a lot of good quarterbacks. The first half of the season is kind of a good time to tell who the MVP frontrunners are.
So I agree, Bryce. I think these two coaches you mentioned, Gase and Quinn, they deserve to get fired. But with COVID and everything, I don't think teams are really going to be interviewing coaches right now. So I think these bad teams are going to continue to be bad and continue to be at the bottom of the league. And I think the good teams are going to win. I think Saints are going to come back and win. Baltimore will come back and win. KC stays rolling. So I think we see basically the same stuff we've been seeing.
Yeah, I think it's a big week for the AFC East. I think Buffalo can really separate themselves from the Patriots if they get a nice little 2-game lead, especially with the Patriots playing the Chiefs this week. Also, if Minnesota falls to 0-4, I wouldn't like. I think they might end up just making a QB change. If it's not working, you might as well just tank on the season. 0-4 is a hard deficit to come back, especially in that division.
Yeah, definitely agree with the benching, because I don't think they'll bench him, but it's definitely a hard hole to follow because you have 2 3-0 teams in front of you. I mean, the Lions are going to be putting up some wins here and there, so you're definitely going to be chasing people who are already double what you have as losses. So it's definitely something to take away. But yes, I agree. The MVP race is going to be interesting to follow this upcoming week. And yeah, after the first 4 weeks, that's the first quarter of the season, which is very good. And then we're going to start experiencing some buys. So stay tuned for that. And I haven't mentioned it yet in this video, and I completely forgot. But here we are, last minute of the video. Don't forget to check out NFL Game Picker if you haven't done it yet. They will be featuring our game picks on the website, so you can check out our video up there. And if you haven't done it yet, follow all these guys on their social media, follow myself. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's game picks video, and we'll be back next week for week 5. Stay tuned for that. And fins up, baby.